Back in version 5.4, Furina made her long-awaited return in the second phase of the patch, and I knew right away that I had to pull her. Not just because she's a fan favorite, but because I had a plan. You see, my Neuvilette team is already pretty solid, but I always felt like it was lacking in damage output. With Furina being his best support, this felt like the perfect time to finally give my Neuvilette that upgrade. So in today's video, we're gonna be pre-farming, wishing, and building Furina, all with the goal of increasing my Neuvilette's damage and potentially taking my account to the next level. And with all this being said, let's get into the video. On day 1 of pre-farming, my main objectives were farming her ascension materials, so that includes her boss mats, flowers, hydro crystals, and whopper flower enemy drops. I started with her boss, which did give me a little trouble at first, and led to me dying a lot, but I decided to co-op, which made the process way easier. A big thank you to all the people who helped me, by the way. Next, I moved on to her flowers, light lilies, which I already had quite a bit of, but I needed a lot more of them, 168 of them to be exact, so time to get farming. They were relatively easy to find. I ended day 1 with 135 of her flowers and 15 of her boss mats. Now on day 2 of pre-farming, my resin had refreshed, so I continued farming for Furina's boss materials. I also decided to get a head start on her weekly talent mats from the all-devouring narwhal boss, since those have a weekly limit of 1. The main focus for that day though was farming Primo Gems, and luckily enough there were 2 major events running at the time that gave out lots of them. Those being the Mizuki event and the story anecdote event. First I did the Mizuki event. I started with the main quest, which was actually really fun as we got to see some Inazuma characters again, mainly Ito, who's actually one of my favorite characters. Then I went straight into completing the event games. Mizuki's Fox game was pretty unique, but I'm not gonna lie, I struggled so hard to do it, especially the last stage. Did anybody else struggle to complete them like I did? Please let me know in the comments so I don't feel like there's something wrong with me. Next was Sayu's game, which turned out to be my favorite, unironically. It was simple, fun, and just very chill to play through. Finally, I did Toma's game, which I did struggle a little bit with at first, but once I got the hang of it, it was pretty easy to clear. After completing the event, I collected all my primos at once, which resulted in this very satisfying clip. I mean, honestly, who doesn't love the sound of primos filling their account? Next, I did the anecdote story event, which I also thoroughly enjoyed, mainly because I got to see a bunch of older characters we all haven't seen in a while. It was really just nice seeing faces like Yunjin or Shenhe again. It had been a really long time, and seeing them pop back into the story just made the Genshin world feel more alive again. Since it was a time-gated event, I completed the rest off camera. And of course, I ended the day by collecting my daily commission primos, because, well, obviously, they're free. For those of you who are curious, here's a Primo Gem check for the end of the day. On day 3, my main focus was Furina's talent books, the Books of Justice. I already had a decent amount of them, so I only had to grind a little more. Mainly because I'm only leveling her skill and ultimate, not her normal attack. You get her books from the Pale of Forgotten Glory domain, so I headed there and did a couple rounds. I didn't have much time that day, unfortunately, so I only managed to do a few rounds, but you know, progress is progress. Finally, on day 4 was Artifact Day. For Furina's build, I'm going with the Golden Troop 4-piece set since it's her best option. When it comes to substats, I'm mainly looking for ER for her ultimate energy cost, HP percent to boost her healing and skill damage, and then some crit rate and crit damage to increase her personal damage, even though she's being built primarily as a support. For her main stats, I'm going HP percent on the Goblet and the Sands, and crit rate or crit damage on the Circlet. I started off with a couple rounds in her domain the main and locked pieces that I thought, genuinely looked promising. I used Mona as a placeholder to hold Furina's artifact set for now, and then I moved on to rolling them. Some pieces turned out really good, while the others were kind of a disaster. But overall, I don't think my artifact luck was bad that day. A few pieces I rolled had a lot of attack percentage, but they also had crit and ER, so I kept them just in case. There were also two pieces I couldn't decide between. One had 22% ER and 13% crit damage, which is solid, but ultimately I decided to go with the other one since I felt like she might be overcapping on ER, especially with the Favonia sword being her weapon. After rolling a bunch of artifacts, I finally settled on a semi-decent build for Furina. Unfortunately though, I couldn't get a single good flower yet, but I'll definitely be improving and tweaking her build later in the video, so stay tuned for that. The day of Furina's banner release quickly rolled around, and I remember being very excited to finally wish for her. I was starting at 61 pity and had previously lost my 50-50 to Dea, so I was on a guaranteed. I had around 30 wishes saved up, but I wasn't too interested in the 4 stars on the banner. My Chongyun was already C6, but I didn't mind getting any Charlotte or feminine constellations. Furina came home at 81 pity, and just look at her. I mean, she's like so cute. I really love her little creatures she spawns. I mean, to be honest, they're just so adorable. Right after pulling her, I started leveling her up as much as I could. I ran out of EXP books pretty quickly, so I collected some from the teapot and the Paimon shop. And since I was capped on resin, I decided to farm a few ley lines to get extra EXP books. I was able to ascend her once more and got her to level 78 out of 80, then went to raising her talents. I was able to get both her skill and ultimate to level 6 after a bit of crafting. For her weapon, I went with Favonia's sword mainly for the extra energy recharge since I don't have her best free-to-play option, Festering Desire, or her signature weapon. Over the next couple weeks, I did a lot of grinding off camera and managed to get Furina to level 90. I also got her talents to 8-8 and finally settled on her final build. This is her build as it stands and also her stats. For the team, I made a few changes. I added Kazuha for his res shred resistance and switched Cookie Shinobu for Layla, mostly for her shield so Neuvilette isn't knocked down while charge attacking. Now that everything is basically done, it's time to test out my new and definitely improved Neuvilette team. First up, I tried it out on Mercenary. This was the rotation I decided on after watching a few guides. Neuvilette's skill, Furina's skill, Layla's skill and ultimate to apply freeze, Kazuha's skill and ultimate to apply res shred resistance, Furina ultimate, then Nervi's ultimate, then do his skill again, followed up by his charge attack. With this rotation, Neuvilette was hitting around 18k damage consistently and even reached up to 22k damage while buffed, which I don't think he's ever done before. Once Furina's fanfare stacks ran out, he did around his usual 16 to 17k damage, which is still pretty solid. I also tried this team out in floor 11 of the Abyss using the same rotation, and it also went pretty well. He did a little less damage for some reason, but honestly, that's totally fine with me. And with that, guys, we've come to the end of the video. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been experimenting with a new editing style, so please let me know down in the comments what your favorite part of the video was. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!